Here we go. Let's go.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right. We are live.
Well, I have been posting on Facebook. The channel's name has been changed. And let me get the name of it. It's called Survivors of Remote Neural Monitoring and Electronic Harassment. And I've been posting to anybody that cares to listen that to give detoxification a a go and give it a try and see what happens. I'm probably day 4 into my detoxing with the ingredients I have. I'll list them real quickly. Oil of oregano gel tabs are 4,000 milligrams per gel tab. Bentonite clay, I take a teaspoon mixed with water before bed. Potassium iodide, 2 tablets per day. Uh, One thing I want to add also is organic apple cider vinegar. That I have not gotten yet. Um, I don't have access to a bathtub, so I'm not able to soak in Epsom and baking soda. What I do for the shower, though, and I don't know if this is even close to effective, is I have the liquid Dr. Teal's Epsom, and I soak that. I use that like a body wash, though I don't think it has even nearly the same effect. All right. Now I'm already noticing that uh, I'm getting less V2K, and the intensity of my shocking is is about half of what it was before in just the 4 or 5 days of using these. Right. So
Right.
I don't want to make too many predictions, but we have been poisoned over many years. And so it would be reasonable to expect that it would take weeks and months to get a complete or as near a complete detoxification of heavy metals as possible. One thing I wanted to add, I have yet to purchase is boron pills. And boron is really helpful in removing fluoride, even from within the bone. Now we've been subject to fluoride poisoning since our first day on this earth. Now you may say I don't drink tap water or use it for boiling, and that's great. I don't either. But you are absorbing it through skin absorption in a shower or bath every day. When you multiply that times 365 days, uh, you're still getting a heavy dose of fluoride. All right. That's all I really have to say. I don't believe shielding is the answer or that shielding is even feasible. With the possible exception of ceramic with millimeter and scalar waves, I don't believe the body can be shielded with readily available materials. Okay. There may be a neuro or hive mind scientist that knows of some shielding material that's a top dollar type of thing. Some secret weapon that will never be. I'm saying detox the metals. That's your best bet, right? So that's all I got to say. What's been on your mind?
Um, Nothing much. Just the detox thing is always good. I've tried a few different methods, and I've always had good results. Um, it doesn't matter really what you're detoxing from, but as long as you are, it's like it's always good for you. Um, but mainly, our reason is better than most. Um, there's a lot of things that I heard, but one thing I agree with all the detoxing stuff. I think I've tried some of them. But the other things too, to like on the healthy side, there's some stuff. It's called burdock root or sea moss. There's I think I think I've talked to you about this one before. It's the chlorella spirulina pills, and those are really good. Those are help to alkaline the body. The celery juice is really good. Helps alkaline the body, remove heavy metals from the brain. And then Shiajit. I don't know if you guys ever heard of that, but it's spelled like this, I think. Shiajit. Shiajit.
Can you put it in the comments? Can you write it out?
Yeah, it's like a black, um, kind of like a liquid. You can put it in water. It's kind of expensive for me. I mean, for anybody else, it won't be that expensive. But I think depending on what brand you go with, it's like 35 to like $50 for a little small container of it. But I think it's worth it because I've heard good things about it. Um, they sell it on Amazon. That helps to also remove heavy metals as well. And it's healthy for you too. So um, those are the two that I would recommend that are one of my favorites is Shiajit and um, the chlorella spirulina pills. They also sell those on Amazon. They come sealed, so like you can tell if somebody's tampering with it. I don't know how they would tamper with it, but because it only it's they know that people are lazy and they don't want to really go the healthy path. So as a TI, you can tell if because they can't contaminate a whole batch. They can probably mess with yours, but this is coming from like people that are trying to remain healthy and trying to stay away from stuff that are bad for us. So I don't think they would mess with with our stuff unless you can notice it like on the packaging. So I just advise anybody, just use your common knowledge and inspect whatever you buy, make sure it's sealed properly, it hasn't been messed with or whatever. Because these cowards will try to do some shit like that, but I wouldn't worry too much about it. You can just, look over your stuff and make sure it's not tampered with.
Cowardly,
But go ahead.
cowardly faggots. We can't leave that out.
Yeah, right, right.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, they're fucking they're some fruitcakes, you know. But yeah, I mean the most part, we're too smart for their fucking, their fuckery. So um there's a lot of stuff on TikTok too. If you look up, because there's a lot of people, I guess, like trying to somewhat be in the truth movement or the woke movement. And some people kind of know what they're talking about, some people don't. You got to just kind of like do your research and kind of go with your gut. And if you put like detox heavy metals, you'll find a bunch of stuff on TikTok. If you put, like you'll see a lot of stuff on there. So I think it's really helpful for, our generation and what we're going through on how we're being just pretty much bombarded with all this bullshit, heavy metals and fungi and all this different types of shit that we probably don't even know that you can see probably under a microscope. If we knew it was going in our body and we knew the stuff that we were eating, we probably wouldn't touch it. But we don't see what happens, the aftermath of eating all this crap out there. Chocolate, Chinese food, whatever, stuff that they're using. I'm pretty sure they're making it very toxic for us, and nobody's probably questioning it. The FDA don't give a fuck, and they're just, they're under the fucking foot of these cowards, so they're not questioning anything.
Well, I agree. Yes, and well, they're all complicit. They're all part of the. You know, that is the agenda. The agenda is to control and to do that. I was thinking when I returned from my motorcycle ride today. This was a little more profound than I realized at first. But the devil really needed the assistance of mankind to achieve its goals in the natural through the use of this technology, because it could not accomplish these goals alone in the spirit
Exactly,
till now.
exactly. Because how would he? I mean, how would he get to God if he didn't steer the flock in the wrong direction? What is most important to the Most High? His people, obviously. So what his attention is going to be on the people. If he can't steer them in the wrong direction, then he's not really doing anything.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, and see, that's exactly right, because the battle was lost with the Most High a long time ago, and this cocksucker understood that from the day of his fall, as did all of those that fell with him, that they were wasting their time trying to war against the heavens. Okay. And so they sought a weaker opponent and really try to get a dig at the Most High. It was a dig. You know what I mean? It would be like, you can't get to the father, but if you attack the young boy, you know that you're hurting the father because he loves the boy. You know what I mean?
Right. It's a weak spot.
It's a weak spot, right? Exactly.
Yeah, it's like they know they can beat up somebody if they're injured, but they won't fight somebody at full strength.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
They're cowards, pretty much.
That's it. You're dealing with
Sadistic coward bitch.
yes, and it doesn't care how it wins. It's not looking honor and even playing field. It doesn't give a shit about that.
Right.
And so uh, I say we shouldn't either. Okay. I'm not looking for an honorable winning a victory against my enemy. If I get in a street fight and the cocksucker is down, I'll kick him in the face. You know, I'll do it. I'll pick up a rock and crack him over the head, whatever it takes to win. Okay. All the rules are out the window. They're
Yep.
out the window now.
Exactly.
So,
You-
I mean, we have to look at our enemies the same way because they offered us no mercy, no consideration, and I say, well, now the shoes, if the shoes on the other foot, they get no mercy or quarter either. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I had kind of a, I wouldn't say an epiphany, but it was more just like a thought, because I was being hit with the energy, and it's usually when I go to sleep, I'm getting fucked with, and when I wake up is when I feel everything. It's like when your legs asleep, kind of, and you're like, but you're waking up to this, so I can feel the energy. I can hear it. I can hear it, kind of like in my room. And when I wake up, I have cars that are parked outside with their engines on or some shit, whatever the fuck they're doing, like trying to connect to me somehow, and they'll take off. They'll leave as soon as I wake up because my brain is changing from a sleeping state to a woken state. So I'll wake up and I'll feel like all kinds of fucked up, and I'll be like fucking pieces of shit. So it kind of like, it doesn't put me in a good mood, but I just shake it off, get myself ready, splash my face with a little water, wake up a little bit. Then I just brush that shit off like fuck them. They're always on my nuts every morning. It's not nothing different. Nothing's changed. But the fact of having to deal with it every day, it's still annoying as fuck. You can't really disacknowledge that you're dealing with a bunch of cowards. Um,
Outwardly
so
faggot.
later on during the day, I said, you know what, like, because I can still hear them here and there, like trying to fuck with me, and they'll use like the fan motor, or like certain things. I can hear like frequencies coming from the TV and shit like that. Very minute stuff, but I kind of thought to myself, after taking a little nap, I was like, you know what? They can fuck with my body, but they can never fuck with my soul. They could try to fucking target my body as much as they fucking want. But there's one thing that they cannot change, and that's our free will and our soul and our fight to fucking keep on fighting back. That they can never change that. They could always try to target us and try to find a weak point in our armor, which, the battle is in the mind. So like, if you have a strong mind, you have a strong will, you're going to be hard to conquer, because that's what they want to do. Obviously, the enemy wants to conquer your mind. He wants to make you feel that, give up on any hope that you have, so that you can end up dead or in jail or worse. So we have to remain strong and know that our enemy is weak too, and they also have a fucking weak point as well, and it's in their pussy.
Right.
Their big gaping fucking vagina.
That's exactly right. I couldn't agree with you more. It's a massive pie hole. Massive. And they need to be reminded of it because, you might not get this, but you don't have to, because what I get is the same thing as what they think of all of us. Not that I'm worried about how we're perceived or
Right.
viewed, but there's an obnoxiousness to the population, and they need to get knocked down about 20 notches.
Man,
Right?
there needs to be a massive eradication of a lot of cowards. That's all I know.
Yeah, yeah, like machine gun time. Now, but
We'll
and
leave
here,
that up to the father.
yeah, we will. The great equalizer with these dumb shits is they're so fucking stupid that they don't know that they're poison too, right? They're so stupid they don't know they're being neurally monitored, GPS tracked with all their metadata, and I mean everybody.
I think some of them do know. That's why they're so afraid to talk, because they know they're watching.
Yeah, right. Maybe so. Maybe so. It explains
Because
their.
I've always got that feeling that they know. That's why they're so afraid. Like, they know they're watching, and they don't want to go against the what I forgot, one of my people, my acquaintances that I know, like, they were drinking, and I think they said They said something like that. They're all like he's always watching like the devil and shit. And I'm just like, yeah, I bet he is that fucking cocksucker.
And I
That's
say,
the only way he can.
but that only matters if you got a vagina and you're worried about being watched.
Right.
I
But see the yeah, yeah.
you give the power to the cocksucker. You got to take that back.
Right.
You got to take
The
that shit.
thing is, the thing is with like with us, right? We don't give a fuck if anybody watches. Like we honestly we don't care. The thing is that they use it and blow it out of proportion, like out of their pussy. They start causing lies. They act like, their shit don't stink. And they just portray shit to like a whole different type of level. That's why we don't want them watching. We don't want them a bunch of fucktarded ass children trying to fuck with our lives. If we just had people watching and they just watched our life, they wouldn't even give a fuck. But since they're gang stalking us and literally trying to destroy our lives, that's a whole different story. Because I don't have nothing to hide. I don't give a fuck about what people know. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Exactly. And at the end of the day, again, like the previous broadcast, these cunts are not the ones that inflict the most damage. It's the technology that does the harm. If you took the technology out of the equation, the maggots are an annoyance.
A lot of them, this is their life. Like they enjoy the way that the system is because they benefit a lot from it. So if they were taking away their power, because this system supposedly makes them feel like they're empowered with this shit because they get over on people, they get to watch people that don't know about this shit fall victim to it. Like for instance, a woman, doesn't know that people can see through their fucking eyes or whatever. They're fucking selling their shit. They're fucking collecting their information. They're doing whatever the fuck they want with their naked pictures, whatever the fuck. And people just keep quiet and pass this shit around, and they know everybody's business.
Yeah.
And so some people don't know that this shit's going on. Like I wouldn't trust your fucking cell phone. Like, dude, you're literally agreeing to some shit that your information will be shared and it will be, and they let you know that it's possible that they're going to share and sell your information. Like it's just, what do you think they're doing?
Well, look, like you just said, they don't need your cell phone. They're getting it right optically through your eyes and through your.
Right, right, right. But that's how they started. Like when they started bringing out these cell phones, they started to collect people's biometrics and stuff like that. Then they started putting up the towers and shit. So it progressed and it evolved, and then now they pretty much have everybody's, I would say, chart. Like if you were at a doctor, they have information about you since you've been coming. So now they have everybody's information that they need. They don't probably need a cell phone to watch them, but it does help continue to collect information on a very close level. If you got rid of your cell phone and stuff like that, it would make it a little bit harder for them to like be that close to you, but they can still monitor you, but it would just be with their satellites and shit. They'd have a little bit harder time. The cell phone is like a broadcast thing, you know, helps them to broadcast you even more than they probably would be able to. So I know for sure that it has its benefits, and I would prefer not to have one at all.
Yeah, man, I miss the days of rotary phones, landlines, answering machine,
Yeah.
vinyl
That's
record.
when you were able to meet people and actually them not know who you are, or like get some bullshit story about who you're supposed to be or whatever. Like it was from word to mouth, keeping your ear to the streets and hearing fucking shit like that. Like now they'll do like this whole campaign against you. So wherever you go, no matter if it's online on a dating site or if it's fucking, your next door neighbor or whatever, they're being fed all this fucking bullshit information through technology, and fucking bogus frequencies and energy and shit, and they're being fucking led to believe this fucking narrative about you that is like fucking way the fuck off. So
Not
it's
only,
become a fucking shit show.
not only that, but technology makes it too comfortable to stay inside and isolate.
Really, yeah, it does.
Without it, it forces you to get out of your space and go socialize.
Right. Right. Yeah, like go venture out, like bump into somebody, meet people, you know what I mean? Like do some shit. Actually talk to somebody instead of texting and, hey, let's go out into the park. Let's go fucking jogging, whatever the fuck. People probably would be getting out a lot more because I used to see people bike riding when I was younger, barbecuing outside a lot more than they used to now. Like you see barbecues here and there, but I mean, there was more society. To me, that was a society of people. Now it's just a fuckery, a fuck show of fucking retards everywhere.
Yeah. Well, I was
Bunch
glad.
of fucking degenerates stuck to their phones.
Well, and to your point is that if you remove the free dope, the free rent, the free anything, okay, the participation it drops off a cliff immediately, and so this requires a constant, just as they have to spray the airs repeatedly, they have to constantly make sure the dope fiend is getting their fix every day. That the rent, the goodies have to continue nonstop.
Yep. And they control the drugs. I've seen it myself.
Oh hell yes they
The
do.
cops are in on it. They're all fucking connected, bro. All this gang stalking bullshit, they're all like working together. It's they're experimenting on certain chemicals they're putting the shit in the drugs so that they link people's minds to these satellites easier and can fuck with people, make them hear voices, whatever the fuck they decide to do. To how can they can target somebody because they know what they can use. I think certain things don't work on certain people, and certain people they do, but I don't know. That's just an assumption, but yeah, it's all corrupt.
Yeah, and I can't speak for anybody, the population I don't give a fuck about. I don't give a shit about patriotism. That doesn't mean shit to me anymore. What I do care about is people that are sick of being lied to. They're real people. I find myself, let me back up. I was never really hip to the mainstream, even as a teenager, right? I really didn't want any part of it. And it's not that I felt like an outsider. I wanted to be an outsider. Does that make sense? I was very comfortable in the
Right.
subcultural world, whether that was punk rock or motorcycles or tattoos. I lived on the edge of society, and that's where I am most comfortable. And that's still true to this day, right? The herd are cunts. The herd is cunts, right? And so I refuse to be part of the herd. I'm a trailblazer and I'm a leader, not a follower. I don't follow, right? I've stuck to my guns over the years, over 40 plus years. My music hasn't changed. The way I dress hasn't changed much. My hairstyle hasn't changed a whole lot. You know what I mean? It's not like what is the flavor of the week I need to jump on? And so with that comes a principle and an integrity, and that you stick to year in and out as well. You don't compromise it, right? Whereas these cunts, they're looking to satisfy the flesh and make sure that their comfort level. Well, you see, I gotta operate in the area of integrity and principle, and to me, that's far more important than how comfortable I'll purposely be uncomfortable and in pain if that's what it takes to maintain the level of integrity, right? In other words, there can't be any level of cocksucker in my DNA. There just can't be. It contradicts who I am completely. And I'm pretty sure it does with you as well. So, in many ways, I chose the position that I'm in today is a result of my own choices. I choose to be gang stalked and to be ostracized and to be targeted because I made it very clear openly that I didn't want any part of the faggot world order and world government a long time ago. And I'm still holding to that position today, right? More so now than I did 10 years ago. Because back then I still believed that there was a possibility of a revolution. And I don't believe that today by any means. I think these faggot cunts will suck a cock to the grave and like it. So the only faith I have is that, like Gorilla Joe said, you're going to watch it burn from sea to shining sea because it can't last, right? Weakness, this kind of weakness cannot go unchecked forever because life itself will check your weakness. It's going to mud check you, life. And if you don't step up to the plate, it just grinds your ass. Doesn't care who you are. It's going to grind you. If there's any bitch in your DNA, life itself is going to grind your ass. And that's all there is to it. That's all there is to it. No exceptions. And that's a lot of reasons why I say hyper sensitivity and fear. Let's talk about that. The person who's sensitive, that is serves no purpose whatsoever. It means you're vulnerable and you're going to be hurt and wounded your whole life. So that sensitivity's got to go if you're going to make it. Now, I don't mean lack of empathy for someone else's suffering. I mean the offense. I'm offended by this and that. That shit, you got to get that shit over with or you're toast. And that's all I see in the population. A bunch of victimized victimizers. If that makes any sense. Right?
Right. Let me drop the link in the description because I have a few people joining up. Maybe they want to join.
Who's in the chat? Let's take a look. Hey, TI News. Yeah, I am up late tonight. TI News. I haven't. I don't have to work tomorrow. That's the big reason why. I'm really a night owl. I hate the mornings. The only time I liked early mornings was duck hunting. I look forward to duck hunting or a fishing trip, but today I can't stand them. So yes.
Where they at?
I used to love trout fishing when I was a kid. I don't have that kind of zeal anymore. I'm a bit off topic. But I love duck hunting too. When I was a teenager, man, I loved it. Just couldn't wait to get in the duck blind. Right, so that's the thing, is that Benko Likoski, thanks for coming back. You got to work tomorrow, yeah. Understood. I'll tell you what I've been doing. I've been drawing a disability benefit, which I do every year. And I'll share this. I'm happy to share it. I was hit by a drunk driver at 55 miles an hour in 2010 at a stoplight. He rear-ended me and nearly broke my neck. 4 years later, I was rear-ended again in Sacramento on Highway 80 near Truxell Road in Natomas by a sprinkler fitter in a 110 utility truck, and that caused 4 discs in my back to bulge. I've had fingers amputated and reattached. I got steel in my arm. I got all kinds of things. So it's a good break for me. Yeah. Yeah, 55, bone jarring impact. And there's no doubt that some of the things I experienced today was going on then. I just wasn't really aware of them. Okay. Back, let's reverse to 2007. I was living in Santa Cruz in a studio apartment for a lot of money. And my neighbor was moonlighting as a homosexual prostitute, uh, working for the Santa Cruz Police Department and throwing feces stained condoms at my doorstep. So he was being fucked in the ass and taking the condom off of his boyfriend's pee-pee and throwing it at my doorstep. Now, if my kid, my 2-year-old, or my dog picked that up, you got a biohazard on your hands. It was that kind of shit that the local DA and the police chief, they were trying to bait me into hate crime enhanced felony. And I mean the type of the provocateur activity where you would go off and maybe hurt someone real bad. You're welcome, Fanko. Absolutely. So now we're talking 15 plus years ago, right? Uh, and obviously, we know a lot more now because the information is being shared much more quickly. Yeah, I can't stand Santa Cruz now. I have no desire to go there except for maybe a brief motorcycle riding back, or take my girlfriend to the beach for the day, maybe, or something. But other than that, nothing. Uh, so they've created this hell for themselves, as look out for Charlie said, 99% infection rate. Actually, that was Michael Miller, YouTube, on the Nano Quell dossier. That according to 2020 numbers, 99% of the population is infected with nanotech. Well, it's aluminum, manganese oxide, and barium. Yeah, the Boardwalk. Yeah, they do have a good concert from time to time. I think the B-52s played there or something. Uh, Now, 2 metals or more in the body produces a battery. That's how they light you up with directed energy weapons. That's how the radio frequency known as voice to skull takes place. The same time exit entry, the remote neural monitoring, it all hinges. The crux is all that metal in your body. I believe that. And yes, the barium is in the chemtrail. You'll notice that the chemtrails, they don't just spray once a week, and that they spray every day almost, because the body has to be continually poisoned for this technology to work properly. Requires the but. We know that the body rejects poison, and over time would probably get rid of these heavy metals naturally. Right? So give it a shot, guys, because shielding doesn't work. We've tried every shielding method and have discussed it on this channel repeatedly. Shielding does not work. And unless you remove the technology itself, the only thing I can think of is the it's like turning the radio off, basically. The FM radio station is still putting out a signal to those who are receiving it. But the radio has to be on to receive the transmission, doesn't it? So in order to turn it off, you've got to remove the metal from your body. How about that for an analogy? Now, how much fear do you think they're projecting on this entire population to keep them in line? The answer is probably quite a bit. Afraid of this and afraid of that. You know, fear is such a useless emotion. I mean, unless it's fight or flight time, fear is worthless. Fear is the mind killer. It paralyzes. It keeps people from rising and achieving their full potential. It keeps people in a box, right? That's what fear does. Fear of rejection keeps you from asking that woman on a date. And maybe you do get turned down, but you know, that's part of the game. Or fear, whatever. You know, I know people that are afraid to get into union construction job because they're afraid of the type of people that work in the business. They're intimidated by that type of personality, right? Hi, Tanya. Good to have you back. Do I think, let me get my glasses, Venko, and let me read. That's a great question, Venko Likoski. Yes, is my short answer to an AI quantum supercomputer. I believe not only all TIs, but all people are. We have vast server farms in Silicon Valley here. And I believe that that's what their purpose is. Yes, absolutely. I'm going to put in the private chat a list of ingredients you guys can look at. I got this from Lookout for Charlie now. I would recommend you look at his 2017 videos. Oil of oregano gel tabs. I get the 4,000 milligram stuff, if you can find it. Bentonite clay, and then you mix it with water. The bentonite clay is negatively charged and is going to bind to all the positively charged metals. It's going to pull that out of your body, right? You're going to get some potassium iodide. Remember, that's potassium iodide. Now, potassium pills, potassium itself is available at CVS in Walgreens. That's not what I'm speaking to. I mean, that's great to keep you from cramping up in the middle of the night. And boron. Boron is great in removing fluoride, right? Also, organic apple cider vinegar. Take a shot of that per day. Charcoal, activated charcoal. And this stuff is cheap, man. Everything I listed, you could get all of this stuff for under $40, and it would last you for over a month. The cost is about $25 a month to do this. It's not going to break the bank. You know what I mean? If it doesn't work, you haven't lost anything. That's kind of where I'm going with this. When you say silver water, are you talking about colloidal silver? Now, I know that colloidal silver kills 99% of all known virus and bacteria. What do I think about mind control? Yeah, absolutely. The media is instrumental in the mind control, as is the technology. Those two are a combination 1-2 punch. And I believe that's what this 5G network is really all about, is mind control and really emotional control. It's emotional castration. You don't see anybody fist fighting anymore. You know, I don't see people on the street arguing and things. You know, back in the day, unless there's alcohol involved, I mean, I can't just say it's a sign of the times have changed. There's something else that's happened as well. I can't even remember the last time I've seen a fist fight. I mean, in the general public, though. Is there anybody that would like to join this live stream and put their 2 cents in? You're welcome to do so. I don't know if T-Loc really has much to say, and I don't want to talk to my. I don't want to just dominate this thing here. Help me
I
out.
think somebody I think somebody tried to join, but I didn't catch it on time.
Uh, okay.
You want to wrap this up?
Vegemite. You know, I've only heard Australians call it Vegemite. uh, yeah, let's do that. Let's wrap it up then for the night. Is there anybody that has a burning question or a statement to make before we go? Excellent questions, Vanko. Excellent questions. Thanks for joining. Okay, I'm out. Talk to you guys.